In this week's chapter, all this talk of it's impossible unless I do it made me want to barge into a room filled with the world's finest doctors and scientists and be like, I can make a cure for cancer. But naturally, I'm just like Kunishige and the Grinch, who can solve an impossible problem and keep all that information to himself.
5 o'clock, solve world hunger. Tell no one.
Now, to sell misinformation, I'm afraid I'm going to have to agree with this guy. That is messed up. Subaru out here profiting from selling lies just to throw off his competition. And he dares to call Kunishige a cheeky punk. Kunishige probably reminds him of himself. If you're new or a returning viewer to my channel, thanks for stopping by. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate y'all. Previously on Kagurabachi, we were introduced to a young Kunishige Rokuhira who is broke, overworked, starving to death, and this is all by choice. No one has ever really heard of Kunishige, and that's because he's selective to who he sells his swords to. Because he trusts Shiba, Shiba was given a sword to gift to Mashiro. Kunishige got the chance to inspect a piece of Dantanseki, and within what appeared to be minutes, he was coming to the same conclusions a team of highbrow researchers came to. You can tell the researchers had reached a dead end when they had to summon a swordsmith considered to be a living national treasure in Japan. And that's exactly where chapter 115 picks up. We'll go over my spoiler-free overview first before getting into major spoilers. The power system in Kagurabachi has always been fairly simple. Sorcerers train to draw out their spirit energy or life force, circulate it through their body, and control it. Each sorcerer is born with one innate sorcerer technique, unless you're the goat Hakuri, and you lose your original sorcery technique permanently in exchange for a commanding and enchanted blade, which are weapons of mass destruction. Never before have we gone into detail as to how these enchanted blades are forged, and that's where we're headed in this chapter. Of course, it opens with a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo on what the scientists have been researching, but then it just gets discarded and it's replaced with, the answer is simple, I do it. Subtle flex. Yes, this was Subaru Urita, and you're instantly hooked by his personality from that point on. The changes of dialogue are noticeably funny too. We go from articulate scholars to, and I'm saying this word for word, I pulled that out of my ass, all the way to some young man improperly greeting his elders. There was a lot of tension in this chapter, fueled by even more egos. Shit was about to pop off, katanas to throats and all. But it looks like by the end of the chapter, there was some mending respect. Something about these flashback chapters of legends of old in any story will get you at the edge of your seat. And brothers, I damn near fell out of my desk chair when I saw a sushi chef draw his blade and react to something we readers didn't even know what was going on at first. Alright, major spoilers ahead from here on. Let's break down the plot and pacing. We're really starting to get into the meat and potatoes on how it's even possible for swords to be conduits of spirit energy. They're letting you know right here, this ain't no Jujutsu Kaisen, training wheels, kindergarten lesson. At the University of Kagurabachi, sure, spirit energy is used to amplify weapons, mainly katanas, and can stabilize a massive amount of spirit energy, but they can't just pick up any sword and do this. The blade has to be designed to channel spirit energy and circulate it with zero waste. I love the complexity and the spotlight we're putting on these talented swordsmiths. A powerful swordsman is nothing if he or she can't extend their spirit energy into their default weapon. At that point, you're just a strong sorcerer with a glorified stick in your hands. You've mastered swordsplay, but you have not mastered the sword. This level of complexity to forge these type of katanas and the dependency swordsmen have to the right swordsmith adds a more technical side to this power system that other shonen never really address, and for that I feel like a highbrow bocce bro with a superiority complex who should be gatekeeping anime from others until they read up on Kagurabachi. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I love how we got a more technical response on how to forge the Dantenseki from Subaru's end. Subaru compares spirit energy flow to lightning strikes. It seeks high conductivity, thin air, high humidity, and splinters as it strikes. His plan is to forge his signature veins, tiny internal pathways, inside the katana's metal to guide the Dantenseki's immense energy. But with Kunishige, his cocky ass is just like, blah, 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 explosions, blah, blah, people will die. Look, I hear you, but I can forge it no problem. Now, I was promised there would be food. Speaking of complexity, let's pick apart a couple characters. Subaru Arita. What a great official character introduction. Gramps over here is crazy. Sure, he can determine how hardworking Kunishige is by a handshake, but to find a good sword fighter, he'll throw a freshly sharpened number 2 pencil at a complete stranger without any warning. Watch me be the dumbass daydreaming in that exact moment, and now I'm gonna be buried next to John Wick's dog. I don't know why I use that as an example. It's like 2 a.m. right now and I can barely think. Backing up a little, Subaru wrote a bunch of fake news and put it in a book to sell. Why? To fuck with his competition's head. You can say he's like Kunishige, who only wants certain people to carry his dangerous swords, but that's not the vibe I was getting from him at all. He's just a dick who got everyone chasing their own tail like a dog. Unethical? Sure, but don't hate the player, hate the game. Sushi chefs are just built different. Mans here is a triple threat. He can forge a sword, slay you with that sword, and celebrate by making sushi with that same sword. You know he's not bullshitting when he was able to sense Shiba teleporting into a room and had a sword in a position to kill him, not only before he could finish teleporting in, but also before Hokazono could finish outlining the panel. You notice that? Shoot, Yura's Shinichi corrupted ass couldn't even react to Shiba's teleportation on time, and he knew Shiba was already in the same room as him. Respect your elders. Biggest thing of note from Kunishige this chapter is the fact that he figured out how to forge the Dantenseki within 12 hours of discovering it. Last chapter, it appeared that he knew all there was to know about the Dantenseki within minutes. So it looks like he spent the following 12-ish hours working out the forging process, and now he's ready to prove it. You can't just show up at these meetings unannounced and not have evidence to back up your theory. And mind you, he did all this malnourished and on the brink of death. Also, where are all these swords of his? 200? And he hardly sells to anyone? It's official. Kunishige really is just in it for the love of the game. His base sword crafting skills are what he feels to be good enough to sell. And visually, I'd have to say my favorite drawing from this chapter was the sensation of death one of the nerds felt when this impressive new character Joji unsheathed Subaru's latest crafted sword. I mean, at one moment, this dude is nonchalant, and in the next, he's screaming and sweating bullets. Of course, this harps back to my earlier point that the swordsman is only as strong as his sword. What do I think will happen in the next chapter? Well, since Kunishige is credited for being the sole creator of the enchanted blades, and how even a guy like Subaru was impressed by his craftsmanship at the end of the chapter, I believe Kunishige will end up teaching this old dog a few new tricks. Wow, that was my third dog pun in this video, sorry. I think I'm still not over all the cheesy one-liners from season 2 of the One Piece live action. You didn't ask, but it was great. Check it out. I would rate this chapter like an eight and a half out of 10. It was pretty solid. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. I have like no notes. I'm really looking forward to how the rest of this flashback pays off. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I am signing off. Y'all, please remember to show your boys some love with a like and a subscription. That'd be awesome. Y'all take care. Y'all stay as sharp as these blades. I'm out of here.